Abusamo akwabom from like Black Media. Abusia ensem bia bobo ba nsenyame amemu a anhwa appeal sebi maame Akosua Serwaa eba bekono ebeye din pa de amano because ene enkomo bia koso a abusia enkomo na koso team legal wife platform so no abusia lawyer bia waje din pa yi etimi abomodin abonti abekire nsemu pa abusia enye nsem ketwa na sani woche nsemu no o ka kwa akosi so sani eye German krata maame Akosua Serwaa ebo modern ede baaye na ka wosa dance eka ho a emra wode eye nkrata ne baaye no adanse edimu entimi ama signatures nsensem entimi aboboso no entino no enenam so ama wosusu se judge no se ne be ye dia asundwe bebenti no judge ana justice Dorinda ebo modern eye se ne be ye asundwe bebenti omunina entena eye kunampaso na omuni kuna no wase se wamanya ntutu yeye na se omubo modern sa de samfo so no esa de ko appeal court wono ma mistakes na omoye no first no sa ne beba head en ngwase kese pa na ebetu wo mu na wo hwe se ne no wogina tim legal wife platform so chirechire nsemu a abusia na efe keke na se senso na ekoba de ne na ya awerho pa na ebeba se wadi wako court first one na wadi nchu na second one we krampo yebeka se yenchu because yie munti no wose munina monkonko tenase na munye yie ni fefefe but indirectly no mususu se omodi nchu na sa wose ya api na api ni de beyi na nimu pefe se wonko a wako api no wadi for dia ene na ebeye ya pa abusia omaka nsema mpese okama ekwaji nchirimu ni afufuru bi ochirimu fa nsem we obesisi ye abuja baby a wo hwe me bia wo haw ne amane kodan na bia da eda wo so bia no bomode se unimi bedi nkomo ye de samna nwanwaso bi aba e frene se eyesika kokko na gold samna wo haw bia da eda wo so bia wo hia sa samna we se bi afi wo ye bema wo hwe me wo bema sam wo pom bema ye ketwa rabaji bula matali eduro bi na wo bema enye kese watimi abo adwuma so ache e wo empem ye de akwankyere bi aba abuja no ye hwehwe wo hyebrim a ye frene se mpelifo akwankyere ana se wo betima frene back to sender onipa bi ha onipa bi tata wato bet e wo ho se wo sanity bi obeku bomode so be fa numbers na egu screen ase na woni mi akasa me hwehwe wo hyebere mu hwi a na bomode se me kire wo ne obeye.
And if that is the case, who is supposed to be a defendant in the German case?
If let's say maybe she can go to German court. As in, I doubt maybe my documentation because I used this certificate somewhere and I've been told that, send it. No, but you want, just as in, you want to be certified, like the certificate to be confirmed whether it's genuine or not genuine, and also you want the court to confirm that as of the time of death of your husband, your supposed husband, you were the only ordinance married woman. Yes, according to the German law or any other stuff.
You get a litigation or and I say for a validation of the status.
Validation, say na register is enough.
Tina maybe I say if you are going to court in Germany, what are you going to look for? And are you going to sue someone in Germany for challenging your status? That is when Nana can arrest judicata, any other things in the world coming. Because if you have already sued me in Ghana and did not obtain a favorable judgment, and then you decide to change your jurisdiction and go to court with the same matter, and then I doubt if even if you get that judgment, with they override what is already the case. You should rather pursue the appeal. How it will turn out. Unless if there are other things like Jumana is saying, the future is very pregnant with a lot of things to come.
Joe? With all due respect though, judgment no? We shall judge when pronounce declaration be our certificate no so.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that one in there. It's like that's a wink you can use. Senanka judge in pronouncing judgment on certificate media. That one in there, if you are taking it somewhere, and I could be a medium or the data. You understand? But so one, you can just switch where you want to do. But all the it's a whole long ball game. To the switch here no. Ohini what ohini then ohina no say then. Ohina na yaw. Ohini na yaw.
Ohene no na yere and no ohene no.
Me who last word mpacho sorry why mpacho. Pachem why.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. My question is going forward, if the certificate and everything at the point of appeal is accepted and the case is turned, is there a chance there will be prosecution? Because at that point, no, it will be
moving love, Pacho, mute yourself, why, please.
There is bigamy. Pacho Timasam.
Okay.
Okay.
Open answer for that one first, Pacho. Say maybe a ban is a mammy Akosua say why we need the case in the compare. You bet too much Akosua or Dobronias for bigamy and that's what
bigamy no. To be honest, Lumba should have been the person to be cited for bigamy. Because one way so ordinance marriage which is subsisting. Then was a bear for. So if you want to she want to cite Odobronia for bigamy, she will only go to court and say at the time of her marriage, she was of the honest belief that there was no marriage between them. But I think it is far-fetched. I'm not sure we'll get to that point. I don't know the extent of acrimonia a lady to say, and if someone wants to cite for bigamy, it's supposed to be Mami Akosua herself. And yeah, busybody, because we are not agreed or no at all. So if she chooses to go on that tangent,
when everything has been proven.
So I'll be to me. I always say that the court is always open, but you all the time you assess your chances of success before you make the move. That's what I always tell my clients. Say I see you don't I say any idiot can go to court. The court is always open. Wait to me, but you assess yourself. Say what are the chances of your success.
Jumana, please, do you have something to add?
No, I think Joe said it perfectly. I mean, can you all double tap, please? Queen is losing. Double tap and share.
Okay. As somebody said, the family, the witness for Dobroni acknowledged in court that as of the time I was in Babekoso, omo ebusiani bisai say omunim say lumba kra catch up say no worry but oni ni yere no omuni omu. You understand? So if you want to cite Odobroni for bigamy later on, that witness statement would indirectly shield Odobroni from bigamy. You understand? If there is any bigamy possible, Krambona, because the witness has confirmed, say Lumba told them, say, Oni Mamino any hobby. But what you say?
Then she didn't do her due diligence.
Okay.
No excuse, is it?
Okay. But any other statement? Who will
Please, can I ask a question?
Okay, just it. But move to any nana your wife.
You've gone very quiet.
Godfather.
Quite sure.
Yeah, but just in particular.
Okay, so my question, I know we are not there yet, so I've seen this thing going on that, okay, all the, I think the properties are in the other lady's name, people are speculating, right? I know that we are not there yet. Assuming that if it's so, and knowing that it's not only her that she has kids with, can the court come in and decide that, okay, look, he's not having kids with only you, all the other children stand to benefit.
Be very clear about the whole allegation that the properties are all in this other girl's name. I want to be very clear. I don't think Team Legal Wives fight for justice ends after being declared as the only wife. Team Legal's wife fight will end after the properties that belong to Akosua Serwaa has also been returned to Akosua Serwaa. So the point needs to be clear. Whether there is a will or without a will, I guarantee you that we will be litigating this to make sure that the proper declaration of ownership of properties are also made. So I think that particular side have been used in this particular propaganda and narrative for a significant amount of time, which is that Daddy Lumba put everything in this girl's name, and there's his will, then there's no will, then there's a will. So I think we have to wait for the funeral to be completed, and then if there is a will, the will needs to be shared with the relevant people, interested parties. And then once it is shared with the interested parties, we will essentially understand what is the next point of contact. But I want to be very clear that if there was a will, and that will stipulated that all the properties belong to this girl, then there is no way that she would be fighting as hard as she's fighting to be recognized as the wife. I think that just seeming consistent.
My exact sentiment, because when there are declarations in the will, you don't need to be a wife before you can take over what has been willed to you.
So I think that to me suggests that it's just another part of the propaganda. So I don't think there's a will. And if there's a will, I don't think she's included in it. And maybe she is, and she wants to challenge. She's not, and she wants to challenge the will. But I think it is likely that there was no will. And after the declaration of the legal wife, and after the funeral, there would be another litigation, which is to determine who gets what. If the Akosua Serwaa does not receive her portion that she deserves, and to be fair, I think Akosua Serwaa isn't really fighting for these things. It's not something that she's been focusing on. But it's not that, I don't think justice is served. And what kind of lessons are we teaching the younger generation if we don't set the precedents quite high to say, hey, this type of behavior is unacceptable, and if you do that, you are going to end up losing. Because if we allow her to take all the properties and live this luxury life, what are we showing the younger generation? That it is marketable, is valuable to go and try and be a mistress, because this is what you're going to get.
Yeah, what they've said, yes, that's exactly it. Also, but one thing I would also want to add is in this case and the people that we are having this issue with, they are playing all angles. Jandam no style everywhere is all in force. What they are doing is, one, if the spousal aspect doesn't work, then the will aspect will work. So the propaganda, they are going to play all propagandas, but they are going to make a mistake. If the woman is married, Lumba was married to both. Let's say Lumba was married to both of them, and Lumba wore everything to one side, and the woman is ordinance married. That one, if that confirmation comes, and properties that Lumba wore it to, let's say Odobroni, the woman also had her name on those properties. Lumba can't just wore those properties out to Odobroni. No, that one there. And so those who are saying that, oh, she has all the properties in her name, I can phone you or Kasabi say you do so now, you be using a bit. Until for now, only there we've not reached the riverside. Let's wait. We reach there, we'll see how we'll cross it. Thank you very much. Or something. Hey, very few. Or impasse was as it says. But you are next. Or
two.
one. Order 2, order 3, Pacho Angelo. No. Moving love. You are next. Then Angelo will also come. Moving love. Please stop.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, they are listening. They are listening.
How sure, I wanted to ask the two lawyers, how sure are we that lawyer Fati is Lumbe's lawyer? How
So,
sure are we?
unless we see the letter of retain, to see whether Lumba actually retain her for the services.
Yes, that's the first person that we should have gone through before even taking
But Fati,
this woman standing
right now,
as a lawyer.
sorry, just to finish it off, right now, Fati's not, the court case, Fati was acting on behalf of Busia Penny. She was not acting on behalf of Daddy Lumba. She was acting on behalf of that Busia Penny. So,
Mr. Penning came out that he is standing as Lumba. That's what he said at UTV. Said, Mimi Kojine Muti said me Lumba. Emma case no. He did not say that he went there because he's a Busia Penny.
forget what Busia Penny says. Listen to what the lawyer says. The lawyer was very careful in her words. She said, "We are the lawyers for Obusia Penny." Previously, when Lumba died, she gave a statement as Lumba's lawyer, and later on, in UTV, she was very clear to say, "Busia Penny no instructing." And you don't write anything without you giving that instruction to do so. So the lawyer was very clear in making it clear that her client is Busia Penny.
No, the thing too is that even in Ghana, as a lawyer, once your client dies, your services automatically terminate.
100%.
Yes, so even if you are representing a client in court, now at the or client you can't announce yourself that you are representing the deceased person.
Exactly.
You only go to court. You see one announce on who, then you only pass the information to the court that a previous client has passed on. So you can't even announce yourself as representing him. So if lawyer Fati was representing Lumba, and Lumba has passed on, all the powers are one. Now relationship be Lumba confer on her as his personal lawyer. It extinguishes. So she cannot say I was his lawyer, so you continue to hold yourself about as Lumba's lawyer. Lumba only lawyer be. It ends there. However, some of the things he made you do for him when he was alive, those ones are still valid. But you can't carry yourself about say, me now you're a deceased person in a lawyer. So like my sister said, court number, Lumba was not a party in the case. So we can pardon a business opinion for his ignorance. Yes, although Mama Akosua will sue Daddy Lumba. A business opinion will sue in your personal capacity as the head of family. And to look at your old Lumba now Lumba or court. You can pardon his ignorance.
Yeah. I think also one of the important part to say, Busia Penny does not understand, but he is. I think if I was beneficial to Daddy Lumba's estate, or the fact that I would sue Busia Penny, Busia Penny is using the funds to litigate a case.
That is the question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, so Busia Penny has admitted that he's been using the funds to litigate a case. What Busia Penny how Busia Penny should have dealt with this was to behave the same way that Transition Funeral Home behaved. They are essentially a party to proceedings, but they're not an interested party to proceedings. And he should have stepped back and allowed the two wives to litigate this case on their own.
Simple.
So the fact that Busia Penny used the funds, the estate funds, to actively litigate in favor of one party is, in all circumstances, a breach of fiduciary duties. And so, for example, the party should bring action against.
Please, can I ask a question concerning that side?
Godfather, let me finish my last one.
No. Based on what she's saying.
No, let her finish. Let her finish, please, Godfather, because I'm the one who interrupted her rudely. So please let her finish.
Okay. I wasn't around. Sorry.
Okay. My second question is, what happens if this case was taking too long and the family, this Abusiapeni, share the property among themselves? How can Mami Serwaa get things back?
Please, anyone can answer.
Ebisapeni is only a custodian of the properties. He cannot share it unless you go through legal process of sharing properties. So if there's a will, the will has to be read first.
No, if they don't have any rule, because that's what I'm thinking. That's why this man is so much pompous in the whole issue.
Even if there is no will, Ebisapeni is not the one to go for letters of administration.
Oh, okay.
The PNDC law specifies those who can apply. The first one is the surviving spouse. In this case, as it stands now, the two of them, and then their children. And then if Lumbe's parents were alive, they can join. And then the customary successor. Now, you need to obey there. So we don't know the customary successor yet. So Ebusapeni cannot unilaterally go to court and say that those days are long gone. Or yes, you can be cited for intermeddling. Then there must be so it can be 1,000 years. You wait till then.
So, Joe Balami, so what you mean is, as the case is still in court, there is no property sharing until the case has ended.
If there is
an appeal.
No, if there is no will.
If there is a will, Crampona, there is this, let's say, there like this appeal case is taking like, let's say, 3 months, 4 months. Can they share the properties, whether there is a will or no will, while the case is in court?
No, sharing the properties, no. Why they go apply for letters of administration? You understand? Yeah. Unless, as it stands now that the High Court judgment is still pending, is still holding, it gives the two wives the opportunity to apply together with maybe one child each from them, and then they can also join in the application. They the PNDC law, and even if it goes through, that's a successfully or much. The portion that is supposed to go for wife, no, it will go for the two of them. But eventually, if appeal near successful, they declare say mistress in your wife, then whatever she has obtained from the sharing norm, it will reverse back to Mami Akosua. So that one there any problem.
And what do you think after sharing? Maybe when you fear before the judgment, be no aton fear no way.
Aton send the.
How can you reverse it now?
So you send the wow better, you can go through legal process. In the more that could not have it, you can't give what you don't have. It's endless. You can't look at the or maybe up to them.
So what I also say that you can also put something on the property deeds to the buyer. Sorry?
Yeah, what you're saying too is true. They can go to Lands Commission and place an injunction on it.
Yeah. So
if you're a buyer and you want to, if you're a diligent buyer, you are supposed to run a search.
Exactly.
Yes. So if you go to the Lands Commission for a change, you'll notice that there is an injunction preventing any disposal of that property. But so when you're diligent buyer now, who say your eventually the owner will come. They ask you to move. Then you have to see the second wife of recovery of whatever resources you have expended in acquiring the property.
Okay, Angelo, please, you are next, please. Angelo, Chairman.
Godfather.
I'm who watch you with the flood in the home out.
Someone person me busa and say, Asamana yede court no. Bibi chiri madwin kakra. Ewo se Mami Akosua de Asamana court se yɛawale no ordinance nti obi aba sɛ ne kunu nso wale no nti court no ɛnkyerɛ sɛ ɔno nko ara na obi a wɔyɛ yere but yɛhwɛ nkɔmmɔ no ɛkɔɔ so na asɛm no tɛne ɛma ɛkɔgyinaa sɛ customary no ɛho asɛm no yɛɛka me nso mamfa saa asɛm no de ɛbaa court nti mebusa sɛ ɛba ne saa ɛwɔ sɛ me lawyer no na ɛdraw judge no attention ɛma no hu sɛ ɛnyɛ no nam de baa court ara sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ judge no hu sɛ ɛno ho asɛm na yɛka nti ebia asɛm no yɛnyae saa asɛm no nto hɔ.
So I want to be very clear. There were more than one grounds that she brought to court. And even the first grounds allowed the judge to look at other factors, because one of the first grounds is that I'm the only wife. Well, if the judge decides that she's not going to accept, and remember there was a counterclaim. There was a counterclaim from Priscilla, and the counterclaim that judge should not allow her to claim that she's the only wife, and that she is also the wife of Daddy Lumba through customary marriage. So the judge was duty bound to look at all the issues before her. And in this particular case, she could have made a declaration that Akosua Serwaa was asking all of them. Had she, and then also, I think, had she been able to prove, not prove, but had the judge accepted the certificate. Since the judge did not accept the certificate, she then had to consider the question, is Akosua Serwaa actually a wife? And she decided, yes, she is a wife, but she's not the only one. Priscilla is also a wife of the late Lumba. And therefore, by virtue of making that judgment that she's not the only one, it means that she cannot then tell Akosua Penny not to refer her to her as a wife or to stop dealing with Priscilla. So I think, yes, and and people were criticizing lawyer Kwesi on the basis that why did lawyer Kwesi bring a witness talking about the tradition, an expert in the traditional marriage, etc. The reason why lawyer Kwesi brought in that particular witness is because the other party was arguing that Daddy Lumba had divorced Akosua Serwaa through the letter. So he had to that witness. The purpose of the witness was to provide evidence to suggest that the letter alone did not dissolve the marriage, and the bringing of the drinks alone did not dissolve the marriage. So on that basis, I would say yes. Initially, I was thinking, why did she go through that? And then upon looking at the grounds that were filed and the counterclaim, I would say yes. The judge was obligated to answer those questions she answered in the way in which she answered it. I don't agree with the judgment and the conclusion, but she did answer the question that was before her.
Yes, you see, the other angle too is that when you are litigating and then you file your issues at the application for direction stage, you leave room for the judge to also add her own issues in the interest of justice. So you see that maybe any other issue that may be raised out of the pleadings. So in your pleadings, you have stated that you were customarily married to the man in 1991. Even though it is not the customary marriage that brought you to court, you came for a confirmation of your ordinance marriage, which was celebrated in 2004. But before the marriage, or before the ordinance marriage, you had already done customary marriage in 1991. That one went through safely without any challenge from any of the parties. So it means that the judge has admitted that for the customary marriage, that one it took place. It is over here at a point there was a narrative say the judge has made pronouncement say open so your ordinance marriage and whom he has obey customary and send one ordinance. And to be honest with you, if Mami Akosua had not done the customary marriage first and send an ordinance now, and can you teach in Sengu Nechini piano if we court on. But the law is saying that once you do customary marriage and then you go ahead to register it in the form of a civil marriage, then the customary marriage is converted. However, in a situation where the ordinance marriage fails, or the ordinance marriage is not admitted or it is nullified, then you are reversed back to your customary marriage. And, even though you did not go to court for declaration that Lumba customary marriage does, because he went me and just certificates now to man, I said evidence of the civil marriage in one gentleman. She was bound to accept that even though civil marriage, there is no document before her, it proves that there is a civil marriage, For the customary marriage, customary law knows no writing. In the customary marriage, they enforce certificate and not be behind the proof. And there was no challenge, say, Lumba and Wareno, customarily. That is why she found that even though there is no certificate proving the civil marriage, the customary marriage need a honor. And by virtue of conversion, say, ordinance, assuming say ordinance be new crampua, we know, and that is the reasoning behind the judge delving into customary marriage. And they say, Mami Naware, customary one that's so existing. And because she wanted to put all of them on equal pedestal, once she has upheld, say, customary marriage, it now gives Lumba opportunity to also marry another person or as many as he so desires. So people for Swaba, no claims on those no 1 day 2010. Then he put all of you on equal footing. And into a man Kobasa, even though we did not go for a declaration, say Lumba married Mami Akosua customarily. But it was born out of the pleadings. It was an irresistible conclusion that the judge has to make. If I try to clear. Okay. Alright. So does it mean that if you divorce in a civil marriage, you have to divorce customary marriage afterwards? That is not the case. Divorce in India, say, oh yeah, medical can say because of conversion, no. Say, oh yeah, customary now converted the ordinance now. That will be ordinance one and then so say they will be jai. Say here say ordinance and be once the court has made a formal decree of dissolution of the marriage, that ends it. Customary be any because of the conversion. Any divorce, say if you try to one near it bit confuse you, because what went on between Lumba and Mami Akosua, there was no divorce. Anything that reverse the bar customary, so or say there is no evidence showing that there is ordinance marriage. However, customary will be challenges of our customary. So in the mind of the court, it is rather customary marriage in a Lumba and any ordinance. By virtue of Kusi not bringing certified copies of the certificate now, require section 161 of the Evidence Act. Anything that will classify or Akosua wedding is a customary and not ordinance. And that's it.
So no, on the ordinance marriage, certificate nanka ordinance no cost what Ghana there. And no pass anka easy for the judge to even verify it. Oh yeah, Akosua. But to judge, need some kicker like judgment. The way a judgment to quiet, no patch say oh you to me verify. Sao customary certificate ni enti ono to onim say why customary no ordinance sorry onim say why ordinance enti say court ni nim say why ordinance technically need there then to na court no any the whole Ghana no enim no say why customary enti no customary ni mu na ebe hu judgment amount but with ordinance ni there say ube to be there who verification aba ama according to Ghana Mran ebetuma som no yetumi som dia and no pa say technically nullify ordinance customary bia Akosua country we mu or any other place but to omomo there fine say wo say why or Germany and no there ho adanse no yentumi nsom wa haye it's nanka boa na yentumi som dia honom there na customary no aye bullshit e Ghana with all due respect and untina mame no abibia akoba ne sa no pacho but pacho we moderators no mo here moderators me pamocho I mombra because old faces na wa ha ya na wa ha back because maybe ebima a request here into me for momba top here
yeah my request but I say almost like I was saying kasa na mo be more chance almost kasa
ya mo bi akase wi o ubi so obi akase if ya papa bi pe na aka no pe oba be kasa asa but na into me see obi ai nti omo mu gina so na se no mu si nti na me kasa no di bacho if ya papa bi bacho o bibi kana ana se we okay bacho trust no one bacho obetuma kasa.
I don't have nothing to say right now. Okay?
You don't have nothing to say right now. Oh, okay. Auntie Goodie, Pacho, Quinema, Pacho bet Messi or Doa. Why? Pacho Dono on ya available. The Pacho bet Messi. A Goodie and Pacho, Quinda Homa. Why? Pacho.
This case, no, they say, even though. Councillor Church in Seminam, but still, as I maintain once it. So, how would a person send my friend say what the we go to court for is to be verified? Say you want the court to verify what ordinance. Now, I ended up in traditional. How often that
request to be wanting?
How often as I didn't say
request to be Mr.
And do we in the court do we really go like do we more case about your friend say traditional marriage and lawyer?
Depending on the Okwaku from court. Say why about property sharing and answer we are. That's why a traditional marriage. That's Mojaya. You can go to court for the confirmation of the dissolution of the marriage and as a customary marriage now, you know. And I say, be a Mujaya, you know, 10,000 people now. Wapedia Shambly, so the Sumu. May own a lot of properties together. You can still go to court. Now, courts are due to farmer. But in this case, you know, the truth of the matter is that Nkaja Jinepa or this may say first issue I do call court say court in declare say Yankwane sue wife our by ordinance. After dismissing it, she could have chosen not to make any further comment.
Exactly.
But yes, I know it will leave a lot of people thinking. And I say the judgment will appear absurd. So because everybody say okay, so also any ordinance and I say you are in any civil what next? Does that mean say back on one area now?
No, how do they authenticate say on no area solely? The
issue is that there is a principle that customary law knows no writing. The customary law the anoneka. And then you use traditional evidence and documentary. Tino, Nipa will be your eyewitness, no about cancer, no way. Tino, so when man discrediting evidence now, it goes in, and the court will accept it. It in and Kaja can say, okay, what about say where civil marriage, you could not prove it. So I dismiss her issue now. That would have occuped my answer. But having dismissed it, no, what would that be the case? Does that mean say onya yere kura na? You get it. So to find a place to fix you, no, and or not even though you did not go for customary marriage declaration. Based on say a culture or story, what can we say? It can your 1 day customary and send a tree, you be converted. And the principle of law is that say, oh yeah, customary now convert, yeah, even though the customary marriage has metamorphosed into ordinance. In a situation where the ordinance is not there, no, also back to customary marriage, you know. Any a principle of law. It's even though one cause a declaration say, oh yeah, customary wife, no. By virtue of so when to improve with civil marriage, you know. Or customary marriage na I part of the evidence will be unchallenged on. A goes in. And no more person who shooting it down, or more say, even what a friend say 2018, what the circle, what the letters were Basil Pessi Ujai. So because almost went to me improve, no. It means that the customary marriage is still existing. Tina earlier, and make as a case win. Both parties Ubia Nyabi, Ubia say Lucibi. But any partner and any Nasus Ubinia Bibino, or no near jubilating. That's the whole thing.
Because the witness, non sembia okay, wow. Anymore baby, because that prega girl no, and Presla of a girl no. One got nursing school be out.
It was your former Mon gift to why, Mon gift.
One got nursing school be out. What Nipa and I'm the Suman could pay if you.
Good dear, Mamma.
I am yes, or say,
Miss Meba. Okay, for Mr. Mon power tap away, no more repost, no more share. Mon gives see host my guest and why. Mon gives you all Mr. Mon power tap, very important. Power tap and very important. No more repost.
So, girl, now, and I'm the Suma, a friend's a press like a fiona. Oh, and that incident, I'm castle, who knows school, Nissa, and it's not true. It's not true. Now, the minim the reason why I say, me, I mean to mean disclosing the baby, or I say, because if it's my help case, you know. Minim de ntia ne nua ne kunu no etimi begina ho twa santro no, and it was believed so oprega ehu no school. That wasn't true. Krama na kwa car girl no call hospital. This girl was a cleaner. And so etimi abetwa ntro ho say na oko school and na papa share no and I say and it was believed in court. Which is not true. Lady na e fa na so ma press la ko hu papa na oba ho so obeboa na ma na clean fiona okohu no. The lady is there.
You see, with having known all these stories, maybe the best you could have done was to even before say ebe cross examine sir papa no. That more if you lawyer could see with all those informations, then lawyer could see would put it to him say. See, and because I say oral evidence. It is a what by say in here were in say in 2006. So if all of you knew, and I say if you had information, say on nursing school on year, the Akusi could have cross-examined the witness on those things. And they can bet mama says school no, yes, supini school no principal. Now, on for record of a year corona, claim is a woman admission. On for list of admitted students. And
go a little bit.
Say information you are working.
Emma Montino. Yes, I'm Monsino.
You can go a little bit.
Emma, a year was away. I waited the year some sorry.
American. Information we are okay. Say nanka lawyer could see armed with data and go between their discredited witness no. And ka the way a judge neka say or no nasem no cranny sense. You lawyer could see could have discredited him by saying say one she has never been to the nursing training and I say nursing school now will claim if she has we should subpoena nipa no or her principal and I say the current principal of the school. No list of students who were admitted in the year say 2008 to say 2010. So almost as a 2010 now, now she was in second year, or whatever it is. Like could have gone deeper into it just to discredit the witness. Because Okona said school no ban so you need record of the woman or the girl ever attending the school. Then no banner say discredited no. And then I just say other ones now work on no correct. This information when even though vital it has come too late of a time.
And I names a short send a lawyer cousin say we will go to that direction because the in a ordinance marriage in echo.
Then say certificate na shooting it down. And then ama omotimenya na ejina so. Yes aka once the certificate was accepted no. And they say okofa osrabo for crab testify say and the Holy Spirit crab testify say he was invited during the opening ceremony no. Opening prayer no, he was invited to come and be the chairman of the program Krampwa. Useless.
Hey, so this case no, Councillor Oba, minim how long our practice way. What is that case will be? It looks like that case means to be Ghana now, or is it there na yengu? And as a social media, and now my say, yeah, I is so worried about it, but it's normal in Ghana.
Lumba is an icon, so anything about him trends. But there are other absurd cases at Akosua. But because so many popular, people don't get to hear.
Rest my case. I'm got some crime.
Gradual. Maybe I shouldn't share that chair, but my question is, if there is nothing at all they can do about this certificate then, because I didn't know in the system what Germany say there are videos of Akosua Lumba air signing Abu needing a chair way and just a picture, videos of it. And this RJ winning Antino Ghana yent me what ever said the other binding and sign and I say the people na I wear. I say is that judge like
Jumana, okay.
Oko court na say odi we me na court a yafre me yedi me ato hold a yama yegina ho a yafre
all right darling, good night.
Nti emu ntimi nya wo Germany ho emu ntimi nya wo Ghana ho anti ade evidence clear way Ghana for it need to many ase aka se there be enyampa the judge's ruling in my opinion enya papa because and that's my opinion. Because Omobai, they didn't come for you, the judge, to choose Kuna. It's for you to even do your ruling and say it's the two of them, Kuna. It doesn't, it's a big thing. Like petition, or not maybe I'm here, my medical doctors near there, my colleagues are no age. My baby, I sign the petition. They just can't believe it. Like what's a country? I didn't that whole thing. See what the evidence say. All these evidence wouldn't work, and I mean I'm madam.
Madam, so what we are saying is they say they are appeal. Like we see we seek leave to try and tender certified copies in Nyama videos anywhere. It has now come to his attention after the judgment. Any documents na be no more because the case was dealt with in a very short time. With me the excuse maybe if the judges will allow him not attach it to the evidence. But then if the other side also opposes her, then the judges may decide say okay, case no. She say now fresh evidence abano. She admitting hook, line and sinker. Now you are defendants an opportunity to cross-examine witnesses no on it. They say we have not been fair to them too. To sanity their case in Yansan could in Fufro. The entry was in a Yanson evidence in the so. No more way. Then we see
that and the same judge and never like a fresh judge.
We can be a says a high court. It is the supervising high court judge and then be decided on which court should sit on. But we need the way case when they say I think and some because when you are forming the opinion about witnesses, or more work I say they have been helpful, or more basis or more evidence they say it is not likely they will allow the case to go to her again.
Okay. You saw my bona basokra. I'm an something so with the case me. I saw it on the internet. You mean say I'm trying to say idea.
It's true.
But I saw a video of that.
It's true.
On my bona baso said, oh yeah, no, why you
She just made I always caption the judgment as a biblical King Solomon judgment. She was more centered about peace than seeking justice. Anything they overview, but the court is there to do justice.
Say, how come? Say, so of your free videos media the day before the verdict, or by time. So I didn't know you enough evidence. And there were other people from other camps that minimum one. They were telling me that really never been say, and it came exactly like that. Do you think that possibly? These people knew what they were about to send on my draft and Yamanistan and Yaman because who chef with the free way now, she came to say the same exact thing. And there are other people that were saying this thing before even the verdict, like the night before, they were jubilating and saying that Omobeko, Rebecca say, Rebecca so young, you can 50-50. You'll be out in Yanameboa. They were saying the same exact, and that was the same exact thing that came out. How?
The walls have years. So I can't defend it and I can't rule out anything.
I know,
and I think that it's dangerous in the judiciary system because if a case is not being your friend is saying the verdict is not out, not everybody knows about the verdict. Is it not scary? Because with a murder case and could be womb. Could be womb before the verdict.
And I want to also emphasize on something I met here. You remember, say, when Dade Swabahini gave that short briefing, and Oka say, "Ubi anfa kuna semwemba ahimfi na kuna semno wo court." I remember that day when I heard it, I was like, "No, enye kuna sem near the court. Court the court the oya yere." And see, reading the judgment and all the things that went on. Okay.
Is it the by necessary implication? Once they
but then once and go for brain no omudi kuna, but we didn't go for kuna. We went for who is the wife. And I know say by virtue of said your wife no nebe kuna. Neti ti yedi kuna no na chadi asem na me reading the judgment and everything surrounding this whole situation, I think it's a premeditated something. Before a 7 o'clock, 18 injunction, they didn't grant it. Because I've spoken to some of my lawyer friends, they're like, the trial was so time limited. I remember a very good friend of mine, who is a lawyer, told me, say, Mommy, senior time near short, no, the me a lawyer, but my day with the time is short to do that.
And one shocking thing, me up to now say when all give you verdicts, like I said that the case is 74 pages, but when it came out and it was 49.
There be the online one, no. The year online here 49. The gazetted one, a lawyer could see 76. And if people are reading from the online one, no more talk it can.
76, so 74.
Oh, 74. So imagine people who are online saying whatever they don't know. They are reading from the 46 one. Maybe things have been eliminated from it.
If I choose, it's the same thing.
It's the same, but small font size is near different, right?
Line spacing.
Okay.
Online for no. Oh, upload there. Now say pages in the door so ombre. So they choose to abridge it by
and I also think honestly, I think say in Yamisi and Kanukre, I think the lawyer Kusi did well.
You don't
in the short frame of time, whatever evidence he submitted, if he should case but I really, because if you read the letter now, a free German embassy the letter is a very powerful letter detailing time worry baby free, and even the letter confirms say attached is the marriage certificate per usual. So it means the German embassy also attached the marriage certificate. Germany, Europe, marriage certificate, because it's in a database, or call registrar, or print here, it's called an extract. So if you see an extract in your marriage certificate, it means sorry, what judge no our born.
That's a way there. Sometimes you feel like
because if you Google what an extract it will tell you it's a marriage certificate. Ghana you need database. Anything na you go kiosk mu kobo.
You hard copy. There be an ekuta.
Anything na Ghana for you more apply for family unification to Europe near America no. They face a lot of scrutiny because we do not have database for our records. In Tomuni, a lot of people do fraudulent marriages.
Once and Danana make us say, "Aha, say we come with Ghana, we can verify." And no crowd mujidi. And no, because
many madam for girl be a warrior was South Africa or a South African. South Africa for a warrior. Omo warrior no mo call civil registry. It's a very home affairs, very beautiful building now. Yeah, interview. No, it's difficult to do fraudulent marriage. In South Africa, for do not face authentication and legalization issue with their certifications. And Ghana no kiosk marriage certificate and then mempower Ghana. What developed country now? Or marriage certificate I be hand over to you. Now what they sign it was so.
What they say for sheet
from Bisa Brajo. Inti what there me got two little questions I bisa. Inti say yeah mo say na we in a time misa. Inti ever say upo be eti go diamond right approach you Ghana. Na say o ka so me ma 3 months. Na the pakoni say 3 months meet me fancy then. But Ojini Sika no sit down in AC. To go send a bubu no busha for Namuna Mugua. The baby moves that will now catch a soon in Savannah. If you know that 3 months, Mr. Just they said they have to give you more time or the case needs immediately. I don't know, Ben will be with clear evidence.
Their end motive, they said they wanted the girl no be kuna nibi. They gave a very limited time. Omujaji we no moma kasa mumie nukoye kuna time ebe appeal no kana ma ye newi. It's as simple as that.
Because I don't think that this is the first time Ghana they can't verify. German cases, this is not the first time we made the German cases for Ghana. So they know extract, they know the marriage certificate, they know about the family book. But that family book anyway need when you see. Which is
too much. We've read the judgment, but also
maybe I know we cross and maybe so. But your judiciary system ni mukakra, so ni mukakra. Then you want them to be was there only if I think to all this only ni kunwa say asema ba omo separate ni kuniti mi ko Ghana ko divorce certificates they back home I say our divorce certificates.
Oh yeah, madam for this is the same thing.
Man contact your ba no man yes
man contacting on ya bin so the buy.
Message for back wakoji aba wari obi so ka girl ni krada say only do say yes mo separate am ko cancel. How does the system no how does it work? Because as I say at least more notify.
The truth of the matter is that they said divorce certificate just A4 sheet register no ebe type no what do they shame say
no the stamp boss no
Joe so there is no database in Ghana you can go and check whether someone is still married or divorced.
Forget
as we speak there is no database which man login say what the Ghana card your Ghana card number or warrior a be show so a be display marriage certificate. Marriage
sexy match for us some copy of the
divorce there are no copy. No
marriage registry honum no. That's a cardboard near packing near man no.
Yes, I'm good too. It's so tough for no records anywhere.
It will back. Let me tell you something. Recently, my marriage certificates are more conducted from 2019. As a matter of fact, me and my gazette sorry no. And me lead you on a call KM marriage registry ne kwaje book ne kakraka beto asoro anko for the why. Do you know that from 2019 omo waro ya asoro nyina to I think say June this year certificates in associate software group until no catch him say adu certificate na say ke tete de kono kwa menye yo. It no unya time I dey.
Me pacho entino ayo mo so mo ko register baby your register business and then what do they go do there? I'm quite
Register general there no ma computerize your money. Unse marriage registry is different from registrar general ne ho ne in respect of businesses.
At this point in time, Senkamami in the ordinance of Ghana, can one know?
Aha, koye no oye no
Guno abra no kra wo hu si eguno.
Ena ke Ghana so can certificate no ke be dia tu.
Brajo,
Ebia na wakoje na ni kunu na kwaje divorce na kwatu abra woni mu. Ebia to madam fu bi wa.
Ena me bi sa o say hi Brajo.
Eya girl ni
Tio.
Lawyer what you say?
No be fair chira akwaje no. Your friend say, who said there are bad nuts in the system. The same way mo ho no mo nim say obi nya admission say sia obi nya girl dey aka no ho na one na akọ. So no onye ni ho ade any all those things. It me so sir unofficial ones no me when those cases come before me I tell you say me the meeting. So no mo kono mo nyom papers ya ombase lawyer kepesi utwam mai. Then they expect you to go through the same process na obi omutwa shortcut edinya certificate in the the same process for. And me as a lawyer I can put my license on the line. I mean yes I man. Opera will go through the process. There will not be any challenge. I have done one for maybe a recent yesterday file in August. Last 28th November near BBR. It was on and see a record time because we be an challenge. The work can be a medium mostly me question medium our new that ends it. A Japadi be new IH and Colabia new ABC alimony.
Brajo, me meet me a contact so.
I am no pacho.
Okay,
Lawyer Joe, and lawyers ni way no. How have you ever spoken to the authorities say they should make a database for the marriage registry?
Okra o Ghana card nimbrabre. And look at them check
gradually ombe.
Hey, but in this digital era, gradually.
Digital in Ghana way. No.
I think we're serious so.
You see, as it stands now, your marriage system is flawed to say extent that, as you say me, Mawari Kumasina, my name is Reti Hanumo. Say, you transfer me for Tamale.
Because that's
because I can say, notice na the bebo honomo. Me fear me team or Tamale in the bebo. Young families need Makumas near the Biabo court no notice of a celebration of marriage between Asimesi and Asimesi, who objection we are ordained 14 days and 21 days. Fabra. Mary to Kumasi Obede who say, may be bisa or Tamale. To be who never
than me bisa question we.
Aha, so any problem, but I mean until recently na yenshede any Ghana card grant any abrea ami enya centralized visa. Say nipa ba kukuta passport be a 2 3 no more. Ukuta driver's license 3 4 no the number. But sisi ana
yalla brasro your friend say or say
but it really needs to be
tell us where the
we really need this database.
Yeah, because it's our database. What's it be Accra?
Accra for no my so uti tamale obeda search
obeda no who say tamale bibio
anti be on say computerization so almost can any soft copy no and then they omit me but say nationwide they are rolling out a database to fear say the MTN for your mobile money ultimate app now to me cross check see balance no obi say obi bo Ghana card idea. It should show, say, oh, this person is married to this person. They have this number of children. So, but the young interconnectivity in respect of marriage, as you speak.
Entino,
second, maybe. It was your for Miss Remo. Mom keep on power tapping. Now, mom gives it lawyer, Mamma, why Miss Remo, because and then a holiday will go now. Uncle beats me arrested because and then uncle Ejuma insecure so to be rested. That's what Janet time
Lawyer, I'll get to
about
them.
me
They will come directly to you.
near memu. Miss Remo, mon give to the mommy why. Na mon power tap na mon share. Why imagine say obi a nam 5800 ya drop ya to 108 shame. Miss Remo, mama ye repost power tap why Miss Remo. Me gifted Miss Remo mo yamani ya fe why mon gift lawyer why mon gift lawyer mon power tap mon post wanted but all me to I need to work. Miss Remo said the bia moye no mama no monya ne sama minim se mo de moye show America phone Miss Remo mra why na mo be gift lawyer mami buy
Lawyer, won't give to the baby. Won't
give to the mommy why sike dwade mi se we show mama trust me one so show patro
me ya manabo so me no won community me ma follow no lawyer me ya manabo so why your point ya me
ya the time oba be wasting the time my Remo uma give to the nurse madam wasi na mon power tap na mon share. Thank you very much. Yeah, me mpese me interrupt me brain. Said we am betimi nya kwai. No lawyer kasa. Muma question here one after the other. Obi wa question was here also. On question on brasro. Excuse me. No lawyer make us why. Ndamose.